welcome to yet another edition of E-Expressions for the New Indian Express. I have with me the veteran Professor S.B. Roy from the Indian Institute of Biosocial Research and Development, and Manoj Kumar Das, who's put in another 25 years in the profession, who's the MD of the Northeastern Regional Agricultural Marketing Corporation. And our topic today is something that I think is extremely important right now. We were talking about tribal development. And when we talk of that, the first issue is, of course, the controversial one of what we mean by that. Do we mean that they're on the margins and therefore they have to fit into the mainstream, into what we consider our model of development? Or should they be allowed to grow in their own particular way with their own traditions and conventions? Professor Roy, since you put in, I think, more than 40 to 50 years in this business, perhaps there's no one better than you to answer this. So what do you think?
Ma'am Kaveri, the term development is a very unique.
Right.
I remember one of the story which we were taught during our school days. One elephant was brought before 5 or 6 blinds.
Right.
They were asked to describe the elephant.
That's right.
You know the story.
Yeah, I think this story has gone down to every generation after you as well.
Yeah.
Blind man blind man and the elephant.
Yeah. So when you talk to anthropologists, he will say the culture is so important. Why you are worrying for other things?
Right.
To the agriculture, they said if the food is not there, how the tribal are going to survive?
Right.
And when you talk about the some politician, they will also have some agenda. What I wanted to share here, that the term development has been perceived by different people in different form.
Right.
This is one of the problem of pursuing any kind of development, maybe sustainable development, human development, tribal development. But to me, if we have to think of some standard definition which will be considered and perceived equally in everyone's mind, that is very important. So the universal definition of Human Development Index, HDI, which has been from the United Nations, that if for any community, 3 important components, like a triangle has got 3 angles. So all 3 angles has to be taken care. The first is health, which cover the mortality, nutrition.
Right.
Second is education. Education does not mean the education qualification degree, the competency to solve problem, the confidence, the crisis management. And third is what resource they have got for a standard life living. So if these 3 things, if are in proportion, and it can be calculated, the HDI standard methods are there, then we can compare how the Human Development Index about the tribal and the same about the non-tribal is going through. And I'm not very happy to share that whenever you document, you consider, even the report from the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, they are also accepted that the HDI, the Human Development Index, is lower in case of tribal compared to their neighbor, non-tribal, living in the same environment. So this is the issue. Why a tribal living in the same environment, their Human Development Index, HDI, is lower. So when you take HDI, the Human Development Index, this is the universal, comprehensive definition of development.
But why is it so, Professor? Why is it lower? Is it historical? Is it traditional? And do we necessarily apply the same indices to tribal development as well?
Yes. For comparing the human development issue of the tribal, non-tribal, the same formula used.
Right.
Example, for taking the blood pressure of mine, It will
Yeah.
have some indication. The heart rate, the pulse beat will be as long as a human, it will be the same. But it will vary about the cultural practices.
Right.
And there are different factors for their lower human development index. I'll give one example. It will be clear to you. Say some primitive tribe,
Yeah.
which is not known these days. We call it particularly vulnerable tribe, PVTG.
Right. Right.
So historically, we used to call it primitive. Now we call it particularly vulnerable tribal group, PVTG. Say the Birhor, come
Right.
the Hope. These are the primitive tribe, PVTG. Their health, competency, and the resource, all three, which are important for human development, is lower. Why? If you go to Hazaribagh or in Jharkhand, in many districts, you'll find the government has found the Birhor were moving, living in the forest. They were a kind of food gatherer or small hunter. Their livelihood was small hunting, forest resource, tuber, and they used to extract fiber from the forest tree, prepare some twigs and rope, and they will see in the market.
Right.
So culturally, their source of living was forest as a nature.
Right.
What happens during deforestation
Yeah.
and because of other natural calamities, the tanda, the house of the Birhor, which is made of all leaves only, it got drained away. So with good intention, government, what they have done, all the Birhor were taken from the forest and they were rehabilitated in the concrete houses.
Right.
The intention, because they don't have house, if they have
Right.
given house, they don't have road, kacha road, so government has made them concrete road.
Right.
They don't have the water, so government has put them drinking water. Anyone say what's a good development?
Right.
Yeah, I would have also thought of like that.
Right.
If someone is not house, provide them house. As simple as that. He's not having drinking water, give them water. Or he's not having kacha road, make it pakka road. So these all thinking were in isolation, not from the cultural point of view. Now the problem was the Birhor, when they come to Hazaribagh, say Damator or Demura, where we have been studying, we found that the families are fragmented.
Yeah.
One is here, other is there. Now they have got concrete house and road and drinking water, but what to eat?
Yeah.
Traditionally, their habits were twinning rope, rassi banana.
Right.
They're used to that. They don't know how to hold sickle.
Right.
They don't know how to plow.
Right.
So overnight, you can't transform them from non-agrarian to agrarian agriculture. So they were at a loss what to do. So they were moving here, then daily wage under, some is there. And what happens? They were used to make some rope, so they will go to the local market and buy some used plastic bags, and they'll remove the threads from that and make with that. And they could not know about what to do about their education.
Right.
So this cultural shock had made tribal in more miserable, despite the government good intention of providing road and money.
Right.
So culture is one of the very, very important. I will tell another point here, like Santhal, Oraon, they are agriculturists.
Right.
They are living in forest, around forest. So even if their condition compared to their neighbor is not good, because of the social and cultural isolation, and also because of the neighbors or kind of deforestation, the loss of biodiversity has made them more miserable. So loss of biodiversity, deforestation, lack of livelihood has lost them, even if you have got agricultural plot of land.
Right. That's fascinating.
Multi-factor.
Right.
Not single factor. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Das, may I put this question to you and ask you, in your experience, what have you seen when you have tried to reskill tribals and tried to, give them opportunities for entrepreneurship? What are the challenges that you face?
Firstly, ma'am, the tribals of Northeast are quite different from mainland India,
That's right.
and
And they're also different from each other. We tend to think of
Yeah.
them as a
Yeah.
monolith.
see, we
Yeah.
have in Assam and Northeast 266 communities.
Right.
In Assam, also people are 6 communities are demanding tribal status, so there you can
Right.
say semi-tribal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
what is a tribal community? It's basically a self-contained community which sustainable living.
Yeah.
They don't produce for commercial purpose. But I must tell you that the tribals of Northeast are doing very, very well.
Mhm.
They have repositioned themselves. They have adopted a new religion. Most of them are Christian. We have now like Nagaland, Mizoram, then Meghalaya, then Arunachal also becoming partly Christian. And they are about 98% Christian. And education literacy rate is very, very high. And they have repositioned themselves. Like in Arunachal, there were 3-4 tribes. They have changed their name because the other people, plain people, used to laugh at them. Like they was called Dafla, now they become Nishi. Then Abor had become Adi, like that. And then there was a tribe called Oka. They used to paint their face called Oka
Right.
means Aka. So now they become Apatani. And Apatanis have one of the best agricultural practices in the world. Their yield per hectare is highest, and they
Right.
are fantastic cultivators. And their education level is very high. Then they self-rule. I mean, they're ruling themselves, and there is no. They own huge tracts of land,
Right.
and it's a 6 scheduled state. Then in Assam, also we have autonomous districts, Karbi Anglong, then Dima Hasao.
Right.
We have now Berlin territorial, BTAD, and they are developing very, very fast. And I think tribals of Northeast and tribals of rest of India are quite different. And
Yes.
in the last 50 years, I think they have done fantastically well. And it can be, I think they have done best in the world. We won't find any tribal community in the world progress so fast. So fast.
What are the
They have
lessons
adopted
we
their
can, Mr. Das, what are the lessons that we can learn? What are the things that they have done that the other tribals can learn from?
Firstly, give them land rights.
Right.
Also, suppose like Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, why they are not able to do it? Because they live in land which is very, very rich in iron ore.
Right.
So they don't have any stake in the resources they have, or they
Right.
lived there for centuries. So whenever we give say maybe license or somebody a block, I think the tribal should be given a stake.
Right.
Then their level will go up. Now they just you take their land, give a small compensation,
Compensation, yeah.
and they become agitated because of that only, because they
Right.
don't have land rights, and they don't they are not touched by development.
Right.
And they should be given, I think, self-rule. Maybe Jharkhand is doing well by getting self-rule. And best thing is leave them alone. Let them develop themselves.
Professor Roy, would you
Yes.
agree with that philosophy that allow them to govern themselves and allow them to develop at their own pace and their own way?
Well, these two are extreme kind of thinking.
Right.
Either you say they don't allow them, or you
Right.
say allow them.
Right.
It's a question of what to allow.
Right.
Often you talk about the cultural heritage,
Yes.
that the tribals' cultural heritage has to be preserved.
Right.
We should not disturb their culture.
Yeah.
We don't have, as an outsider, to change the culture of the tribal. Such kind of statements are very popular, and it very exciting also for debate. But I will ask you, if you are a human being, your neighbor, and they have some cultural practices which is objectively, not subjectively, objectively detrimental to health. For example, in some of the tribes, they are not allowed to eat protein. So that will be loss of the protein. Some of them were not allowed for antenatal care for the pregnant mother. Earlier, they were not allowed for immunization, fear. So do you think if the cultural practices of not antenatal care, immunization, nutritious food,
Yeah.
this, or they are practicing hunting.
Yes.
Now hunting is banned.
Yeah.
So you can have a debate whether they should go hunting or not. For debate, it is fine.
Yeah.
Talk hours together, very fond of talking. But how can you tell that a person, a citizen of the country will go beyond the law act? We cannot.
Right.
So what I wanted to share that all the cultural practices and heritage may not be conducive.
Right.
Is objectively verifiable is detrimental. So as a human being, we should allow, rather we should facilitate to change. Again, it may be very controversial, but I am thinking forcibly tell that those cultural practices which are not conducive, we have to change. We'll come to the discussion, can we change it and how to change it? And did I change anywhere? Did I change anywhere to find some change? I'll talk later. But this is the first point, that cultural practices which are not conducive, objectively damaging, should be held. But there are cultural heritage.
Yeah.
For example, the tribals have got very strong taboo, do's and don't. One of the don'ts are that some of the trees like banyan, it cannot be harvested. So they have a groove, sacred groove. We call it outsider English.
Right.
Yeah. And Devasthan, but we call it sacred groove. So what happens, such cultural heritage of sacred groove, the word taboo, don't, very important, and such cultural heritage which is supporting the survival, supporting the safety of the environment, supporting the life of the people should be conserved. So we should be very clear about the cultural heritage which is today relevant, objectively helping or not helping. That's what I say. I cannot say blindly, we should do it or we should not do it.
Mr. Das, what are the actual examples that you've had where you've taken a traditional skill of a tribal community and made it a sustainable business? Do we have models like that, Mr. Das?
Yes, ma'am. We have see, basically 266 communities means they have 266 different
skills. Yeah.
lifestyle. That is where you can go for community tourism.
Right.
You have their costumes. Like Nagaland, they have different types of different shawls, different their spears.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is different.
Yeah.
Then in Assam, also Assam is like they were quite evolved that way, being part of the mainland India for maybe 2 to 3,000 since millennia. Basically, costume. Then they are a handicraft.
Right.
Lifestyle. This can be product. You can make products out of it. They're like for community tourism. Then handicraft, handloom, and also they have medicinal aromatic plants.
Yes.
And this land, they have huge tax land that can be used for agri-horti production, and that we should give them sustainable livelihood out of agri-horti sector or handloom and handicraft. We should not be thinking very, very big industries going there or some other thing. But this is good enough for the small community to survive. Right. And if you can link them with the market.
Yeah, that is the big question, Mr. Das, isn't it? The linkage to the market. For instance, whether it's Manipuri black rice or whether it's a different kind of coffee or a different kind of
like
tea.
they have ma'am, Manipuri blanket called Lesang Phi.
Yes.
That is dying out. That we are trying to revive through a scheme called SPUTI scheme. That is scheme of fund for traditional industries.
Right.
So that is under MSME that we are doing, then MSC CDP scheme. So basically they are, they have a huge social capital.
Right.
So that means you can go for clusters or group kind of entrepreneurship. Right. Individually they do well, but those are like contractors, as some people say say Zero Valley, they have grown a lot of QE, and now one entrepreneur has started kiwi wine, organic kiwi wine.
Wonderful. Yeah. So these are the examples of sustainable production that we can have, but it has to be linked to the market, and you know you have to find ways of selling it, whether through online or bricks and mortar. That has to be worked out.
Evacuation is,
Those. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
see, number one biggest problem is evacuation of the producers. Like they grow a lot of large cardamom in Dibang Valley,
Right.
and it's a very high value produce. Then black pepper,
Right.
then this basil leaf like that, and but then evacuation is a problem. But those have longer shelf life.
Right.
So, but for things producers have which shorter shelf life, like perishable, pineapple, orange, then ginger, turmeric, and another very big produce is that is jackfruit. We are
Right.
not doing much about it, and it's grown in a very large quantity, and it's just wasted. You know,
Right.
jackfruit nuts and all this can be
Right.
purchased, but then we don't have enough cold storage or processing facility. And I think government should set up, like I was promoting recently a concept called one village, one product, or
Right.
one basti, one product, or maybe one panchayat, one product, where we go for collective production, then processing, then marketing.
Right.
Basically, we'll have to give the shelf life to the produce. Then
Right.
they will get a better price. Otherwise, they go for stress selling.
Has that worked, the one village, one product model?
So this is just trying to introduce now. After I took over this MD of Neramac, we will be taking up 30 villages this year.
Right. Professor Roy, what has your experience been? You know, when you look at either, we've talked about it to a certain extent, either community-led, individual-led, or government-led development. But what have been some of the striking examples of success that you've seen, which you can share with us? And perhaps those are role models for other communities.
See, again, I will say it should not be community governed.
Right.
It should not be government governed.
Right.
No community in the world, I tell, no community, tribal or no tribal, in the world can go without any infrastructure of institution.
Right.
We all have our social institution.
Right.
Like for marriage, birth, meeting, sadha, we have social institutions, pattern of living. Now, each country has got their norms to govern the community, do's and don'ts. Even if the very remote island, like Andaman Island,
Yeah.
where the government cannot reach, the Jarwas, Ongi, they have also social institution, but this social institution is being monitored and governed by the head. So what I wanted to share, that the community will have some governance system and there will be some governed. So government and the community both must have a complementary matching institution, that is bilateral matching institution. So I believe neither community dominated nor government dominated. Government framework will be there. We will have our act and rules. Some of the rules and act can be modified to find what are the complementary community institutions. Same way, the community also has to modify some of their social institutions, where I say people raise their hand. Community also have to change their social institution if it is not compatible with the government and which is detrimental. So I believe in the government and community must have. I'll give an example. You want an example?
Yes, it's always good to have examples.
Yeah. See, government has got number of sectors.
Right.
Forest department is a sector, agriculture, fishery, water, and nature has got only one universe, where the forest, agriculture, water, they coexist as interdependent body. But what happens for the forest department, he is assigned to look after his forest. Naturally, he cannot talk or go outside the forest to dictate something to the agriculturist or to the fisherman. Same way, the agriculture extension officer, he will go and talk to the farmers, and he will not like to know, or he has no right to know, or he will not go in the forest to see what kind of biodiversity there are, plants, animals, birds, or insects, which comes as a pollinator and which could be healthier for the agriculture.
Right.
These days, is a very good approach has come. They call it integrated landscape management. That means the forest, water, agriculture, and the livestock, all five components, we call it Pancha Tattva. All five components has to be examined, their interdependence connections. I'll give an example. For doctor will examine your health of your body. So even if he's a cardiologist, he is a specialist for the heart. But while he's treating heart, he will see whether the lungs is functioning or not.
Right.
Other parts are functioning or not. But in case of a government functioning, the cardiologist, the forester will not care whether the lungs is functioning or not, because he is accountable for the forest biodiversity.
Right.
So taking care of the nature's interdependence and interconnectedness, now the integrated landscape management program has become very successful, which has been practiced in different states also. It's a very, very unique program of integrated landscape management, where all sectors sit together and plan, looking into the community need as a micro planning. This is one. I'll give you one example. I'll take 2 minutes over that.
Yeah.
In view of that, Government of India, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, they are going to launch a very unique program. It is known as GOAL, G-O-A-L, GOAL, Going Online as Leaders, G-O-A-L, GOAL. So Government of India has launched a program where 5,000 tribal youth will be identified from different parts of the country. Imagine if 5,000 tribal youth are identified and they will be given simple technology, smartphone in their hand. And for 9 months, that tribal youth will be given a kind of training, hand-holding support for grooming. So this support will be helping tribal to use the smartphone. Even otherwise they will be having fun.
Right.
But important, how the smartphone will be using for identifying what is wrong going on in their forest, in the agriculture, and he can send message to forest department, to agriculture, or suppose his cow is sick, he can take photograph, so he can communicate for the use. He will also have a problem solving ability. So in addition to computerize the digital knowledge, he will develop communication for problem solving, that is life skill. And then he will be given training as entrepreneur. You were asking about entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So entrepreneur training will be of different kind.
Right.
For agriculture, horticulture, maybe on the computer, maybe on the managerial skill. It could be on the civil service. So this program, I see, has got goal, has tremendous potential. This is with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and Facebook, the international Facebook. So such collaboration, I think, will have a very positive impact on the tribal youth, and such tribal youth will be posted for 2 months as intern in some organization. So they will build confidence of working in the organization. And finally, the program goal for the grooming of tribal youth, if the tribal youth become competent, he will become a role model in his village.
Right.
And he will act as a change agent. If he becomes so, the panchayat will approach to him, forest department will approach to him,
Right.
culture will approach to him, even the villagers will approach to him from any kind of communication linking with the government or bringing knowledge. So the program goal with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs and with the Facebook will have a very important intervention in the tribal development, what I was saying in the beginning, the tribal development or indeed the Human Development Index, HDI. So three goals, we can implement Human Development Index through monitoring, knowledge building, resource building, and improvement of the health also.
Right.
This is a very, very unique
Yeah.
program. Yeah.
That's actually quite fascinating. Mr. Das, do you see collaborations of this kind in your experience as well between government, private institutions, and individuals?
See, ma'am, there was an experiment talks, Naga talks. It
Right.
started about 20 years back. So my institute, RDI Institute, Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, where I was director for 2.5 years, we have trained 25,000 youth from Nagaland in entrepreneurship development. They were given training for 15 days on the EDP module is there. Then they were given loan. And now Nagaland has is the most entrepreneurial society in Northeast.
Okay.
I mean, those have, come, there are excellent success stories out of that experiment. So what I think is that government should, how it should come out is that there is a social capital and there is a lot of hold over the youth of the community. So instead of going through some project report, going to bank, applying, then giving land documents, and most of the tribal states do not have land documents.
Exactly.
Land is owned by community. So banking, extension of banking is not there. So I think taking guarantee from the community, we should give them some smaller loans like 1 lakh, 2 lakh,
Right.
and just sign on a piece of paper that what you want to do. This is the money, you return it after 5 years without interest.
Right.
And let's do some kind of experiment like that. Instead of high sounding, names and acronyms, then ultimately it becomes like a, pretty wee balloon. Most of they lost the hope or faith on the government or the schemes. And we should actually do something concrete like that and quick. It's not we announce very high sounding schemes, then they go to bank 20 times. Ultimately, they don't get anything because they are not bankable. So,
Right.
so I think we should make them inclusive. We should fund them, throw some fund, 2,000-3,000 crore for government MDA is nothing. And that kind of way, I think scheme if they give to like organizations like IIE or NERAMAC or NETFI, North Eastern Development Finance Corporation, which is now 25-year-old, going to have now Silver Jubilee this year. We have been doing wonderful in this region, and we have a lot of experience now in the field level. And let people from within evolve. And Sir was telling about the new kind of, what kind of structure they should have, organization.
Yes.
Earlier, organizations like these cooperatives have failed, then societies have failed, and even companies have failed in private. So now they have come out with something called farmer producer companies.
Right.
Yeah.
Where all farmers or artisans, they come together, they form a company, and they all are stakeholders.
Right.
And they all contribute, then government also pulls in money, and ultimately through CFC model they develop. And these rural livelihood missions are doing great work, like they
Right.
form self-help group, then FPCs they are forming, farmer producer company, then organic mission is working. So many people are working in different fields, and I'm quite hopeful because one thing I have seen, the entrepreneurs or the mindset of Northeast youth is that they don't want to work in a compartment. They're 9 to 5, they have to be
Right.
inside. They
Right.
want to work in an environment where they can take people around, show them, talk to them. So basically, this transportation, the passenger transport is in the hand of local people in Assam.
Right.
It's
Right.
one of the best bus service we have, night bus service, and
Right.
it's all evolved here. Then hospital, diagnostic centers, these are run by local people. Hotels are run by local people. And tourism sector was run by largely by local people. Only factories are run by outsiders, like, I won't say outsiders, but then non-locals.
Right.
They call Marwaris or Punjabis or Biharis who have come here for last 150 years. And in Assam, I tell you that industrial culture is very, very old. Like tea industries started in 1830.
Yeah.
You just calculate 170-year-old. Then Assam oil was formed in 1890, I think. So it is more than, calculate how many year old.
Yeah. So
So
there's a
100%.
tradition of entrepreneurship.
All-
There's
all-
a tradition of
Yes,
cooperation.
yes. Assam Railways and Trading Company was the second company formed under Company Registration Act of India
Right.
in 1838. So, and British has, they have given very good industries, tea, oil, these are really
Yeah.
regulated and structured. Only thing, after independence, we could not, harvest our water resources.
Right.
So much of water is flooding everywhere.
Yeah.
We don't have any national plan.
Yeah.
We are every year it's flooded. And so much of, about 1 trillion tons of water flows down to Bay of Bengal.
Right.
It's all fresh water. Had it been China, they would have maybe, linked our waters and taken to other places.
Yeah.
I have not seen any plan in this next 20
Yeah.
years.
What do you say about this, Professor? Interesting points about there being a tradition of cooperation, there being a tradition of entrepreneurship, but perhaps not capitalized on.
That's a very, very important question.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, again, my perpendicular thinking. Yeah. Like heritage, I said, or should not, maybe have to evaluate.
Right.
Community institution or government institution, my radical thinking, no, it is a bilateral matching institution.
Right.
About this traditional and education, I will tell. We have problem of food security,
Yes.
not only for tribal, we all.
Right.
We are having problem due to climate change,
Yeah.
tribal or non-tribal. We have contaminated food, lot of chemical fertilizer. So all such problem where we are working, the tribals are the most important player for conservation of forest, to mitigate the climate change effect, use of organic farming, reduce chemical fertilizer, use of traditional seed like millet, maize. We prescribe, go to the market, they're very expensive, millet, maize,
Right.
all those traditional seeds. So they are the people who are conserving.
Exactly.
Now, what we need to conserve seed, go for organic farming, good agriculture, forest conservation, good livestock, good fish. All those things will be taken care if tribal development is there, right?
Right.
Now, my radical thinking, if a graduate, tribals, higher education is important. I repeat,
Yeah.
tribal higher education important. They should go for civil service. Many of them are shining.
Yeah.
They, I know some of the professors of tribal who have done their PhD in UK.
Right.
I salute them. But the civil servant, higher education, engineer of tribal working in IT, tribal working in the university, will not take care of the food security, farming, agriculture, forest conservation. They will not go down. That is my radical thinking.
Right.
So there has to be 3-4 kinds of tribal layer.
Right.
All tribal are not homogeneous.
Right.
There we have to see which are the farmers. Again, my radical thinking, pick up those who are less educated
Yeah.
and they choose to be farming practices. Those who are the graziers, they choose to continue as graziers. So training for them are segregated, isolated. They never aspire for civil service.
Right.
Who not aspire for IT, will not aspire for PhD. So those higher education are important, I tell, but we have to segregate it and reach to them. And again, I request you through your media that the program of GOAL with the Ministry of Environment, with the Facebook, reaching people to the farthest place, tribal youth, we call it now mentee, shishya. And there will be some mentor, like from industry, could be from university, from the college,
Right.
from the social work, they will be mentored. So through your media, I want to communicate that this message should go to the remotest villages where the tribal youth will be encouraged, will help to apply to become mentee. And those who love social work, those who contribute for the social development, those who enjoy tribal development and having different profession in different part of the country, they should apply to become mentor. This is through online on the tribal ministry.
Right.
So mentor and mentee relationship will be one of the very powerful for the rural sector development, particularly for the food security, for the health, for the biodiversity conservation, and not only for tribal. Imagine if the tribal improve forest biodiversity, soil improvement, water conservation, the whole environment will be improved.
Right.
It's good for us, it's
Right.
for the society. So such kind of tribal development through goal, reaching the tribal mentor and mentee relationship is not only for the tribal alone, it's for our own social development.
Right. We're towards coming to the end of the show. May I just ask each one of you, if tomorrow you were made Minister for Tribal Affairs at the center, or even in your state, what would be the one or two things that you would like to do? Mr. Das, you first, and then we'll end with Professor Roy.
Firstly, to ma'am, I will change the name tribal. I'm also a semi-tribal. So when say
Right.
tribal means, I find it is like something patronizing by non-tribals, or
Right.
maybe Aryan, non-Aryan.
Right.
We should be called something better name, not tribal name maybe given by British. Let's change this nomenclature firstly.
What would you like to be called? What would you like the name to be?
I don't know. Call it. Let's find out.
Right.
But
Okay.
let's change this tribal. And I
Right.
also request you don't call tribal all the time. Because I am also semi-tribal, so I feel it is insulting.
Right.
Secondly, Professor was telling about mentee mentorship. It is very good. Mentorship should be there. Then food security, tribals communities. We have been actually preserving this food security at our own level, but
Yes.
this government 3 rupee kilo scheme has killed the rice cultivation.
Right.
It's no more profitable, or no more, remunerative to produce. But we, let me tell you, ma'am, in Assam alone, we have more than 1,000 varieties of indigenous rices.
That's true.
And whatever rice is produced, it is not procured by FCI. They
Yeah.
say a high moisture content. But let me tell you, Thailand is also equally, humid like Northeast. But it is the largest exporter of rice in the world. How it is?
Right. Right.
Then we can produce like grams, green gram, black gram.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
come about 5 lakh tons come from Burma to India. Why we are not developing those things?
Exactly.
And fruits, like we can have naturally grown fruits and vegetables. There is a huge demand for it in like Japan is looking for that. Korea is looking for that. Everybody wants to have good food even in India.
Right.
Then thirdly, climate change. Yes, we have one of the best climate environments in the country, Northeast. And luckily, we have not industrialized. We missed the industrial revolution, so I think it's very good for the region.
It's good. Yes.
And it is organic. It is actually organic by default. Here, almost all the, environment is so clean. I'm locked down in Guwahati, and I feel so blessed to, inhale this pure oxygen.
I agree. Guwahati and Shillong are like
And ma'am,
wonderful cities.
we have been dubbed as people, lahe means slow people. So I think we should promote this slowness. And as Siampoket, we should put up a huge board called "Welcome to the Land of Slowness." Now is the time of slow cooking, slow eating, slow life.
Slow living.
Yes. What has First Light given us? Just see. So
Wonderful.
these are things, and Northeast has a huge, great future, and leave us alone. And let us develop ourselves. We should not have schemes trusted from center. Let it be revolved from here. And I think way to go ahead is one village, one product, or one basti, one product,
Right.
one panchayat, one product. Let's pick up some good practices from maybe Thailand.
Right.
And we should have a huge fund, which not like thoroughly bank linkage and all these, because people are not bankable here. And our industrial culture is not very, entrepreneurial culture is not very old. So there should be, it should not be used as a dumping ground. There should be local beyond this Siliguri point. Then only these markets will develop, because we cannot compete with the market from outside. There are huge examples where some industries here, like there was Everest Cycle Company, really killed it by subsidizing the cycle here 50 rupees and taking up in Karnataka. So that was in about 30 years back. There was Assam glass factory. Then BRPL staple fiber project was there, and that was killed. Now, so almost all these and money should come back. It should pop back. The 125 years of oil industry, where is the money gone?
Yeah.
And tea industry, we produce continuously profit making, and we produce about 565 million kilos of tea every year.
Yeah.
The money is not plowed back, not invested back here. So I think Northeast is demanding its due, and there should be better connectivity from the hills. Maybe we should have Indian Ropeways Limited, like Indian Railways, so that the produce and people from hill can move quickly to the plains and Indian mainland. And a lot of development happening now, of course, about 250,000 crores worth of infrastructure development going on, bridges across river, Brahmaputra. Then we have been talking for a long time about opening up to Southeast Asia, but nothing is happening. Look, East, Act East. So I would like to expedite and do something really on the ground so that we are connected to our natural traders like Burma. We have been doing for millennia, trading with them, we've been living with them, or ethnically we are similar to them.
Yeah.
So we should be open up, and then I think it will develop.
Wonderful ideas. If it were up to me, I would make you minister right away.
Yeah.
We'll just have to change the nomenclature. I know
Okay.
you don't like it. Professor Roy, maybe
Yeah.
the last word for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, radical thinking.
Yes. We've heard a lot of radical ideas today
Yeah.
from both of you.
Yeah. See, for any human being, like any other living body, biological, we need food for survival. So our survival first.
Right.
So for the survival of the tribal and survival of the community who are staying together. So my radical thinking is that whenever you plan for tribal, you cannot ignore the interdependence with a neighbor. It cannot. It creates a rift between tribal and non-tribal. I have seen it. So the first planning, when I become minister, I don't know, when are you making me? I don't know. But when you make it, so my planning will be that tribal is one part of the system. You cannot improve any part of the machine or your body ignoring the interdependent other part. So this is the first thing. Secondly, focus on the women empowerment. When you take care of the women empowerment, the women conserve the traditional culture, traditional seed, and socialization of the children. The world values comes from the women. So women empowerment is very, very important for the root survival of human and the living. Now, another radical thinking, when we talk of women empowerment, as I told, women the part of the system, we have to take care of the men together.
Right.
Unlike feminist theory, that आगे चलो, आगे चलो, but साथ में चलो.
Right.
When I often ask in my training program, all the women are there, and when I ask them, look, now these days women are taking all responsibility, they are flyer, engineer, they can do everything. All the women, yes, we can do everything. I say, can you become father? Same way, I ask men, can you become mother?
Right.
Cannot. So such radical thinking that we have, for women empowerment, we have to take care of men together.
Right.
For tribal development, we have to take care of the non-tribal together in the framework of development. For the natural resources, we have to take forest, water, land, livestock together as a one system, not as an isolated part of the interdependent. And the change will come with the society and then ecology. So socio-ecological process of development. Socio-ecological process of development. Normally, social scientists, they work in isolation.
Yeah.
But They never, but the social biologists has to work together like a transdisciplinary. Earlier it was multidisciplinary, then it becomes interdisciplinary. I advocate, again, radical thinking, make it transdisciplinary, break the wall of the boundary of discipline, work together. Sociologists, ecologists working together for development as a social ecological approach. This is what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Thank you so much, both of you. It's been a very engaging discussion. I've learned a lot. I'm sure our viewers have as well.
Just one point, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
certainly.
you.
Please,
Yeah.
please. Yes.
I forgot to mention about this women empowerment in Northeast, because here
Right.
women are more powerful than men. And they are very hardworking.
I know.
And in Meghalaya, Professor Sir, all of you know, the children take the surname of mother, and the youngest daughter inherits the property.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Northeast also, they are very, very powerful. Women are very powerful. And in Assam, there is no dowry. Even in fact, boy has to give some money,
Yeah.
like all dress and other things.
So there are lots of things
India-
to learn.
India men has to not only learn, they have to imbibe a lot of values from Northeast.
Right.
Then only I think Indian society is developed.
Yes.
I mean, it has to be, interaction and values and systems, how we are performing here and how we are operating here. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, both of you. It
No,
was a real pleasure.
I thank you. I thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation. Really, I felt like again I'm in my classroom, like just few months back only. And your all questions are so relevant. Such a good thought you have provoked me. So grateful indeed. I have heard of you. I have name also when they forwarded your name, Kaveri. I informed. Oh, good. I'll be happy to talk to Kaveri. Thank you, Kaveri. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, both of you. It was a real pleasure for me as well.